What's up, guys? Jason Guyman here, and tonight we're going to talk about how you can get a $2,000 average ticket, $2,500 average ticket, $1,500 average ticket. We're going to teach you how to double your average ticket, how so that you can make more money, do less work, and it's way safer, right? Because if we can do half the jobs instead of doing all the jobs, if we can do half the jobs that we can make $500,000 doing, it's way safer than when we do way more work, right? You know, I got to talk to my friend Daniel, and his average ticket it's right around $2,000 each average ticket. So this is how we are able to do this so that you can grow your business. Because you know, a lot of people I know, they'll do 1,000 homes and their average ticket is $500. Well, let's think about that. That's only $500,000, and that is a lot of homes that you got to worry about falling off of. You got to worry about customers complaining. These are all things that you have to start thinking about as you grow your business. And so that's what I'm hitting on tonight is how do we grow our business? How can we do this so that you can be successful? Because the goal is for you to be successful is that you are going to have to be able to get more jobs instead of getting higher end jobs. And so I'm trying to do two things here. I'm trying to get us going up here in the group. Something went wrong. That's never good. But that is what I want to hit on tonight. And so this is what you need to know how to grow a business, because a lot of times I see so many people that they don't get it, right? They don't know how to charge. They don't know what they're doing. And so as I've helped Daniel and as I've helped thousands of other people grow their business, it is important to understand what you need to do to be able to grow your business. And, you know, one of the things that I've learned is pricing, right? Pricing is one of the things that people struggle with. Pricing is one that so many people don't understand. And so tonight I've actually put something together of the blueprint of how you are able to get to a $2,000 average ticket, right? Is it better to do $52,000 average ticket, or is it better to do $100,000 tickets? Which one is it that you would rather, or $1,000? Which one would you rather do? $100,000 tickets or $52,000 average tickets? Me personally, I'd rather do half the work and be able to do the same amount of money. And so with that is what we're going to hit on tonight. But before we get there, this past weekend was freaking amazing. We had some amazing people there. We had Daniel, who did over $500,000 in year two. We had David Hamill. He does a couple $1 million in different businesses. Also, we had Eric Beck. He did very well, right? And so we had a lot of awesome people at this the training this past weekend. We had Justice there, we had Jordan, we had Scott, we had Tom, who was a cop. He was a retired cop. And so we had a lot of awesome people at this training. I think there was 16 people there, 15, 16 people. And it was freaking amazing. It was one of the best trainings I feel like we had, as in people were able to engage and to grow and to learn. And that was awesome to see some light bulb moments coming on people's heads of, wow, I can do this. And so it is definitely something that as you are thinking about growing a business, it is important that you get around other like-minded people. Everybody went out to dinner, or almost everybody went out to dinner both nights, and it was some great conversations as we were eating dinner. We got to learn different marketing ways of people doing marketing of different ways from each individual person. And so it was really cool to see how people grow businesses, right? Not just the normal ways, but some different ways of thinking about it, using different techniques. And that is what is really cool with that. So with that, we got some people. Are you friendly with the Fresh Rinse? I know who he is. That's about it. I've only met him one time. That's about all I know about that. He was my competitor when I owned my business. He was cheap back then. He's still cheap. But that's just what it is what it is. And I got that. I used to bid against him a couple times, and he was always way cheaper than what we was, even back then. What's up, Jordan? How are you doing? Half the work and half the risk. And that is exactly right, right? We're already on these dangerous roofs, and the last thing is you want to do is fall off or something like that. And so, let's talk about safety before we get into this $2,000 average blueprint. Safety is super important. If you didn't know that, last year we had several people fall off roofs, and that is no joke. We had 2 people that died last year, and that is no joke. And so it is important that we be safe when we're doing this. A lot of times I know people, I talked to a guy earlier, he's like, man, it only takes me 45 minutes to do a house. Are your guys being safe? That is the question. That is my question to people. Are you doing this safe? Are you not taking risk that you don't need to be taking? Because a lot of times, I don't care if your average ticket is 10 grand. If you fall off a roof and can't walk for the rest of your life, is it really worth it? Especially you guys that don't like to charge, is it really worth $500? And I'm going to tell you, it's not worth it. It is not worth falling off of a roof. So make sure you're staying safe. Make sure if you need to, you use ladders, the protection. Make sure you're using harnesses. Make sure that you're using the correct tools to stay safe, because the last thing you want to do is fall off a roof, and that is no joke. And that is not anything that you want to do for sure. So let's talk about this here. I know this says because I was typing somewhere else and it was stupid, but I want to talk about the blueprint to get to $1,000, right? A lot of times I know people that won't even get to $1,200 an average ticket. Their average ticket will be very low. And so tonight I want to help you get your average ticket up. I want you to get your average ticket up higher this year in 2025 for your Christmas light business. And this is some things that you need to do to be able to shift your mindset, right? The biggest part of this here is shifting your mindset to start thinking about what can we do to get a more average ticket up is what we're going to work on tonight. Maybe if I can get this thing to click and go to the next slide. There we go. So one of the things is we need to sell the magic. Right? A lot of people don't get that this isn't about selling the bulb. A lot of times we get into the idea that we want to sell the bulbs. We want to talk about the LEDs. We want to talk about the 15-inch spacing. We want to talk about C7s. We want to talk about C9s. We want to talk about putting bulbs on the peak. We want to talk about all of those things. But in the end, we need to understand what we need to do, right? Your ideal clients are homeowners that value convenience, quality, and stress-free holidays. That's what we are selling. We're not selling the bulb. We're not selling this. We're taking the thing off of their list. We are being elves to take those things. We're being Santa's helpers to be able to take those things off of their list. Another thing that we fall into is a lot of installers will say, Jason, I would never pay for that. You're right. I wouldn't pay $2,000. I wouldn't pay $1,000 to have someone install Christmas lights. I wouldn't pay someone $200 to install Christmas lights. And so this is something that you got to get out of that mindset of I'm the person that's doing it. And that's not the case. You're not your customer, right? You are not your customer. Put that in the comment. I am not the customer. If it's your name, say Odin is not my customer, because we know Odin is not his customer because he's a 16-year-old, and there's no 16-year-old out there going to be paying for Christmas lights. So that's what we have to think about when we're looking at this. Understand the wealthy homeowner. They got this, right? When people say, well, I would never pay for that. And I always say, would you pay for the Mercedes that is in the garage too? Would you pay for the $38,000 purse that she's carrying along? And yes, purses are that much. Are you willing to pay for the the $100,000 fish that's in the fish pond? Probably not. And yes, there's fish that are worth $100,000 in that stupid fish pond. And so when you start thinking, you got to get out of you are not the customer, right? Because it is definitely something that a lot of people struggle with is that they think that they're your customer, or you are the customer, and you are not your customer, right? We want to do value-based pricing, right? We are giving tons and tons of value. When you give tons and tons of value, people are going to buy from you. That's what's going to set you apart from your competitor. And did you know answering your phone is giving value, right? Answering the phone 10 times is giving value, because a lot of other people aren't going to do it. And then lastly, this is the biggest one out of them all. You got to sell the magic. You got to ask questions about the magic. You got to sell the magic. The magic is where the magic happens. It really does. Magic is awesome. You're selling an experience. You're selling an amazing experience that they won't not want to not let that happen, right? And so we are selling the magic. So let's do the math, right? We want a 40% profit increase. So this is something that if you install 30 jobs at $1,200 each, you generate $36,000 in revenue. But just 18 jobs will do $2,000. So this is the importance of, would you rather do $18,000 to make $36,000, or would you rather have 30 clients that makes you this here? Because let's think about this. Then that's almost twice as many customers that you're going to have more issues. You got to drive more places. You got more windshield time. You got more issues that are going to happen. And so this is why you have to think about why we want to raise our prices. You know, I know a lot of people struggle with this. This is one of the things that, Jason, you just don't understand. You can't get that in my area. And I call bullcrap, right? You know, I know people right now in Virginia that are at the $4 and $6 a foot. I also know Daniel's at $10 to $12 a foot. Red Door's at $10 to $12 a foot. Elf Pro's at $10 to $12 a foot. But yet you will sit there and tell me that you can't get that in your area. The only reason why you can't get that in your area is because you're not asking for it. You don't believe in yourself. And those are things, and you're not giving value. You're probably not worth $8 to $12 a foot. And so this is the importance of why we give value and not sell the bulb. Right? You can sell the bulb at $6 a foot all day long. Just keep selling the bulb, but you're not really making no money at the end of the day. Again, would you rather have a $1,200 job and do 30 of them, or would you rather have 18 jobs? Let's just add a zero on that. Would you rather do 300 jobs and make $360,000? Or would you rather do 180 jobs and make $360,000? I personally would much rather only do 180 jobs and make $360,000 than do 300 jobs, because that's 120 more jobs that I got to go do fixes. I got to go install. I got the complaining customers. And I'll just tell you, the cheap customers are your worst customers and your worst complainers. They will complain about everything. And so this is why we want to do do less jobs and more money, correct? That's what we want to do. So how do we do this, right? We want to do packages, because if you don't do packages and we don't offer it, most people, what they do is they go, you know, when they call and you'll say, hey, I want a Christmas light job. And you're like, all right, let's just give them the lights here. And that's all they quote, right? We don't give them different packages. We don't say, hey, here is the reindeer package. Here is the winter special, the winter wonderland package that gives you the roof line, that gives you the columns, that gives you the ground stake lighting, that gives you a wreath, that gives you the bushes, that gives you the trees, right? That gives you the ridge line. We give you everything, man. This package is the Taj Mahal package, and it's a $3,000 package. When you offer a $3,000 package, You are going to get people that are going to take the $2,000 package, which is going to get my average of $2,000, right? Or people are going to take the $3,000 package, but they're also going to take the $1,500 package, which is going to get my average ticket back to $2,000. And so if you are only offering packages of $1,500 and you look at all the packages that you've offered and they're only $1,500, $1,800, then there's no way in hell you're going to get a $2,000 average ticket. So what do we got to do to make that happen? We got to raise our prices, right? We got to raise our prices and we got to raise our value. We're going to add the columns. We're going to do the ground stake lighting. We're going to do the bushes. We're going to do the trees. We're going to do the roof line. We're going to make this thing look magical, right? We're going to get them in the magical feel of Christmas. That's what we're going to do. And when we do this, this is how you're able to get this average ticket up and get that, the premium experience is $3,000. This is what we want to do. This is everything. This is the whole 9 yards and some. The bronze package is just a little bit. Then we're going to add to it. These are the reason why we want to make sure that we are adding this here for our Christmas lights jobs. Because if we don't do that, then guess what? It's not going to get us up there, right? We're not going to be able to show how we can grow our business. We're not going to be able to show what we need to do. And so some of the things that we need to do, this is a big one. Ask emotional questions. Because guess what? If we can ask emotional questions, we can sell on emotions. If you don't know what the emotion is that you need to sell on, you're not going to get it, right? So how do we ask emotional questions? Hey, so why do you want the Christmas lights? You got some family coming over? Do you got a party? Why do you want these Christmas lights? Well, it's my grandbaby's first Christmas. Ho, ho, ho. Isn't that great? We're going to sell on that all day long. That baby at 1 year old don't have a clue about those Christmas lights. They don't care about those Christmas lights, but oh, by God, Granny cares about those Christmas lights, and she's going to pay a whole lot for them, right? And so this is how we can sell on emotion is we got to ask questions. What is it? What are we celebrating? Why do we want the Christmas? What do you remember as a kid as Christmas? What are you looking for? Is it something that you had a childhood memory? What was a childhood memory? What are some emotional questions that we can ask to drive us to be able to sell on emotion at the end? And if you're doing in-person quotes and you're not asking these questions, you might as well not even go in person because you're just wasting your time. People ask, should I go in person or online? I do it online. There ain't no way we could do all the quotes that we got through in person. That's why we did it all online. And when we did it online versus in person, it wasn't that much different. From the guy that taught us that did it in person, his average ticket was only a little bit higher and his close rate was only a little bit higher. So I can get more leads and do it that way. That's the way I'm going to do it. I'm not going to go in person. If you want to go in person, then you better ask lots of emotional questions. You better look and get clues that looking around the house when you're in there selling and you see the grandkids or pictures are up on the wall. And you might be asking, is that your grandkids? Awesome. Who are they? What do they do? Get interested in it, right? This is how we're able to hammer that really hard by going and following that process. And then present a design mock-up. Make it look professional. If you can use Holiday Home Concepts, or you can use ChatGPT now. You can make a ChatGPT one pretty simple by using ChatGPT. Taking a picture of the home and say, put Christmas lights on it, put a wreath on it, put this. And if you get a good prompt, that'll do it every time. And it'll take you 2 minutes to do it. That's another way that you can do it. Can connect to the family traditions and memories. That's what I was hitting up here on asking the questions. That's how you're able to sell this. And then last, sell this done for you aspect of the service, stress free. You don't have to worry about a thing. Only thing you got to worry about is give me your credit card. Everything else is handled. Only thing you got to worry about is give me a check. Right? Position as the design, not just an installer. Begin consulting with questions and uncovering emotion. What are your favorite holiday memories? That's what I was just saying up there. How do you want guests to feel when they arrive at your home? Oh, you're having a big party this weekend? Awesome. How do you want How do you want your customers to feel when they come? Oh, I want them to feel nice and welcome. Awesome. Hey, this is the $3,000 package. When your customers show up, when your clients show up to this, they're going to be their feeling is going to be so awesome, right? They're going to feel like they're at home. It's a magical wonderland. Whoop, there you go. I just sold it for you. So that's how we are able to sell on emotion. If you don't ask them questions, you don't have no firepower to give back those answers, right? And that's how we do this. Use a mock-up and the software. Like I said, these are all ways that we can make us look more professional at the end of the day. So how do we handling price objections? Well, one, we pre-qualify them. We don't even give them a price. We don't even allow that to get there. We ask questions that are already going to hammer down on our objections, right? Hey ma'am, our typical installs are anywhere from $1,000, or our average ticket is $1,000, and our typical install is about $1,800. Does that sound like something that you want us to go ahead and make it for, right? And they're going to tell you right then, you're going to get one of two answers. One is, what? There's no way in hell I would pay that much, and slam the phone down on you. Or the second one is it's going to go quiet, and you're going to be like, did they hang up on me? I hope they didn't hang up on me. And it's going to go quiet. It could go quiet for a minute or two, and you don't say a word, because the next person that talks loses. So if you're like, well, we can do it cheaper, well, there goes your $2,000 average ticket out the door, and it's going to go quiet, and they're going to say, yeah, that sounds good. Awesome. Let me get your name, email, address, right? This is how we can do this. Next thing, consider the 40 hours of your personal time saved. You might say, well, Jason, it really going to take them 40 hours to put up Christmas lights. Well, by the time they get them out, they find out that they don't work. They don't have enough extension cords. They go to Home Depot 3 times, and they still get it back. And then they got to take them back down at the end of the season. They got to put them up. They got to deal with all that stuff. And yes, it could take them 40 hours of putting up Christmas lights because they don't know how to put them up as fast as you do. Right? And that's some way you can do it. When you break down the investment, it's just $30 per day for your entire holiday season, right? All you got to do is pay $30 a day, and this is how you got it. Our premium services, this is a way to make someone, if they say it's too expensive, you can say our premium service isn't for everyone. We focus on clients who value quality and convenience over the lowest price, over the guys that are at $6 a foot, over the guys that are at $4 a foot. And yes, there's some ding-dongs out there at $2 a foot. But that's not who we are, right? That's not what I teach, and that's not who my customers are. And so that's why I push the $8 to $12 a foot. The best way to handle price objection is to prevent them through proper pre-qualification, set expectations early on the phone conversation before scheduling consultants or before you give the quote out online. When objections do arise, use contrast. This is the not for everyone approach states exclusively increases perceived value, right? We're giving more value. We will be willing to walk away from price-focused customers. So that's why we do this, right? That's why we want to do this. So after a premium approach, roof line, trees, everything, $2,600. This is what we want to do. We want to give us more. So develop packages. This is something that you need to do. Create 3 packages. Don't just be gold, silver, that. Make it fun with the holidays. Make it the Clark Griswold package. Make it the Winter Wonderland package. My top package would probably be the Winter Wonderland package because a lot of people want the Winter Wonderland look because most people watch Hallmark movies and that's what they want. They want that on their house. And so we can give them. Do a visual markup, right? Do the mock-up. Now, here's the thing. If you're just starting out, do a mock-up of every house. Don't pre-qualify nobody. You're going to get a lot of hell no's, but that's okay because I want you to learn how to do mock-ups. Either you can pre-qualify them and still do the mock-up even if they say no because I want you to start learning how to do these mock-ups to do them quicker because you do not want to start learning how to do mock-ups in November when the phone starts blowing up on you because when it takes you an hour to do the mock-ups because you haven't been practicing, that's a bad thing. So start practicing now of doing mock-ups so that you can get them done in 5 minutes. And yes, you can get mock-ups done in 3 to 5 minutes if you have practice. If you've never done one, it's literally going to take you an hour. So go ahead and start doing mock-ups now, so that way when the phone gets blowing up, because if you do the right marketing, you do the Facebook ads, you do the Google ads, you do the Google, yard signs, whatever you're going to do, and you start getting 100 leads in a day, and yes, you can, the week of Thanksgiving, get 100 leads a day, then this is why we want to make sure that we're able to pre-qualify them really quickly, and we want to make sure that we are making sure that we get their name, the mock-up done quickly. Write scripts so that way you can hit on talking points and ensure your team is understanding it, right? Do you have a script for your employees to talk about, or are you just going off there? So revise pricing. Get us a 3-tier. Raise your prices. Raise your prices. Raise your prices. Develop mock-ups. Begin offering premium packages. Implement pre-qualification process. You now have the blueprint. So that's what you got to do to be able to get to a $2,000 average ticket. I know some people will think I'm crazy. I know some people will tell me that you can't get it in your area, and those are you believing that you can't get it in your area. That's what that is. You got to start believing that you can grow your business. You are worth this. I don't even care if you're on the pressure wash, whatever business you're in. So many people undervalue themselves, and they don't realize what things cost, and they don't know nothing. And this is something that you have to start thinking about when you are trying to grow a amazing Christmas light business in 2025. And you can. That is the awesome thing about this. So that's what I've got for tonight. If you've got questions, put them down in the comments. I will answer your questions. So if you need Christmas lights and you want the best price of Christmas lights this year in 2025 and you missed the pre-sale, go to christmaslights.io right now. Because the tariffs are coming if they don't do something with the other side of things. So that's what might be coming at the end of the day. All right, half the work. Sean, what's up? How are you doing from Canada? Tom and Beth Adventures. Odin is not my customer. You got that right. I am not the customer. When I told my friends and family what my prices were, they told me I was crazy. But then I realized that when they weren't the type of people that would ever pay for such a service. And that is the reason why most people will not charge, because they go to their family, they look at their family, they look at their circle of friends that they're in. And to be honest, that is not your customer, because I would go out to venture to say that most people out there, that their circle of friends are like you at the end of the day. And so they don't live in a big house. They don't drive expensive cars. They don't have high purses. And that's the difference between you and your customer, right? And if you go find that type of customer, they're not going to pay that for Christmas lights. They're not going to pay $200 for Christmas lights. And you know what? You're going to get a lot of no's. Going after the $2,000 average ticket, you're going to get a lot of no's. And that's okay, because we don't need to close as many jobs, right? If I close 320 jobs, like I said in the beginning, right? If I close 300 jobs, that's going to get me to $360,000. But if I only close 180 jobs, that's going to get me to $360,000. It's 120 jobs less, right? And so that's the whole point of what happens when we go and raise our prices, right? 300 jobs at $1,200 is $360,000. But only 180 jobs is $360,000. Would you rather make $360,000 doing 180 jobs or 300 jobs? Me personally, I'd rather do it that way. Again, you're going to get more no's, right? Because you're going to market the same amount and you're going to get 180 more no's. Are you okay with getting 180 more no's? That is the question to you. Are you okay getting told no 180 more times? Yes, you're going to get 180 more jobs, but they're going to be low paying jobs. Are you okay getting 180 no's? That is the question. That is the question for you. Hear me out. I am starting to get mixed emotions about follow-up. I follow up 3 times for a quote, then I'm done. I found out the best customers say yes right away without delay. And that's not the case. I would disagree with that. And here's why I disagree with that. Because it's about who is your customer, but it's also about following up, right? So we know if we go back to our School of Psychology and the DISC program, we know that type D personalities are going to tell you yes real quick. But we also know that type S people and type C people are not going to say yes right away. In fact, that's why you got to reach out to them 10 to 11 times for them to say the yes. And so how do we know that? Because we know that type C and type S personality, type S is 69% of the population. Type C is like 11%. It's almost 80% basically. It's 17%. It's 80% of the people don't say yes right away. And so that is why we need to follow up. And we need to follow up a lot, not just 3 times. We need to follow up, it's like 9 to 11 times. So the average customer is like 9, so we need to follow up 11 times to be able to get to the 9. And so that's why we need to follow up. And now how do we follow up? We want to follow up by phone call. We want to follow, but Jason, what do you mean follow up by phone call? Yes, phone call. What you will find out if you're only following up by email, you will probably find out that only 70% of the people are getting that email. So you're not even reaching everybody. You need to follow up by text, email, and phone. I would highly suggest to follow up the very next day by a phone call. It's going to help your close rate go up because you're going to ask them, did they get their quote? And they're going to be like, no, I didn't get my quote. Well, that sucks. Why didn't you get your quote? Did it go into spam? Did you even know this was from me? And that's why we want to do that. Hey, Jason, off topic here. I have a log cabin with clear paint on it. Client wants organic off, but not the clear paint. Should I use sodium methicillin or regular bleach since it is painted? That's a good question. It depends on how bad it is, would be my first question. If it has clear paint on it, I'm assuming it's a clear sealer. Is it failing already or not? I would do some test spots. I would also consider doing sodium hydroxide downstream. It probably isn't going to do much, but it depends on what you're looking at, to be honest. And I would do test spots. I would just see what they want. Would not want to strip the paint, and the supplier told me has stripping properties. Yes, it does have stripping properties. I would consider doing a light house wash mix and trying that way first. 180. How much should I charge per square foot, and then what should I charge to rehang the lights the next year? So we want to charge, it's not per square foot, it's per foot. So each bulb up here, this is actually 15 inch, so we're going to charge it at $8 to $12 per foot. So when we measure this out, we're going to charge $8 to $12 per foot. Now, how much are we going to charge to put it back up? $8 to $12 per foot. That's how much we're going to charge for rehang. It's not about a rehang. It's about a service. We are offering a service. We are offering a emotional, stress-free service. That's what we're offering. We're not offering Christmas lights. If you want to go hang Christmas lights, then you just go do it at $6 a foot to then start and rehang it at $3 a foot, because that is Christmas lights. We are offering a red carpet, amazing, premium Christmas light service that we're going to come, we're going to hang the lights, we're going to fix if there's any problems, we're going to take them down. You don't have to worry about them. They're done. They don't have to store them. We got everything covered. And that is the goal. It is a stress-free, amazing, high-quality service. We're going to answer the phone when you call us. We're going to come and bring you gifts 2 weeks before Christmas. And yes, if you want to set yourself apart, you're going to go get you a $25, $30, $50 gift and bring them a nice cup with candy canes in it. Bring them something that sets you apart from your competitors, right? These are all things that are emotionally that we're going to do. When they have their party, we're going to be like, hey, we know you got your party coming up. Is all the lights working? Or even better, hey, you know what? We just drove by your house to make sure all your lights were working because we know you got a party this weekend. Are you setting yourself apart from your competitors, or are you just like everybody else and not charging enough? And that's the whole key of this. What's up, Mr. Ryan Lee? How are you doing, sir? Fortune is in the follow-up, 100%. When most people do packages, they base them on linear footage of the house. How do you price packages based on lights? For example, package 1, roof line, package 2, roof line bushes, package 3, stakes. So my packages would be roof line would be 1, roof line and wreath, and then roof line and stakes, and then my last package is the bushes, because I hate bushes. I'd much rather do the stakes than that. Or it might, and that's the thing, every house might be different. Like this house here is going to have columns. So every house could be different a little bit. Fortune is in the follow-up. Send a quick selfie video. There you go. Do something different, right? That's definitely different. You know, here's the other thing. I'm going to give you another tip of something you can do. Especially for, I was going to talk about commercial tonight, and so I'll hit on something that you can do for commercial. So if you're looking for commercial work, go find them on LinkedIn. Follow them on LinkedIn. Friend them on LinkedIn. And then when you leave, go and do a video and say, hey, thank you for allowing me to come by and meet you and talk a little bit about them, right? And guess what? That's going to set you apart. That they're going to remember that. They're going to be like, you know what? I remember him. He's the one that sent me that LinkedIn video. Because nobody does that, right? What are you doing that nobody else is doing? That's one thing that's going to set you apart that nobody else is doing. But, Jason, that takes time and work. I never said this was easy. If it was easy, everybody would do it. You know, a lot of people worry about competitors. A lot of people worry about, man, there's 20 new installers. Okay, what about the 20 new installers last year that went out of business? What about those 20 new old installers that went out of business, right? We always worry about these. There's all these competitors. Well, how many competitors go out of business? They go out of business because they don't know how to charge. They don't know how to follow up. They don't know how to get quotes out. They don't know how to answer their phone. They won't answer their phone. And so these are all the things of why people go out of business. They're not consistent in their marketing. They give up too easy. When it gets hard, they quit. Don't be a quitter. Be a getter, right? Go get it. Get it done, baby. Get it done. That's what it's about. Trying to learn more about LinkedIn. If I'm trying to grow my network and attract attention, would you try to connect to everyone that pops up on your feed and only people in your local area? I would not. I would try to find people that I'm looking for in my area, obviously. If you know, I would target certain people. I would probably target people like doctors. You could target, I know people that do doctors and lawyers, and I know, right, you're trying to target that audience. You can do nurses. You can do different things. You can do facility managers. You can do property managers, because some of your property managers do HOAs. So that's why you target those types of people. Fine, you win. Back to following up until I get a response. Basically, you keep following up until they tell you yes or no. What I have found out, if Jason says to do something, you do it. Thanks. Right? I mean, let's be honest. I just want you to grow, right? I get on these lives and I give you guys value, and I give you tons of value. And so you won't get this everywhere. The reason why I do is because I want you to be successful. You know, I want you to be like Justice that came this past weekend. 2 years ago, he was scared to death when he came. He was broke and scared to death. And I told him to raise his prices. And he's like, well, how much, Jason? And I said, double is how much. And this was for the pressure washing business. Well, guess what? Last year, he hit $100,000 by doing a pressure washing business and not working real hard. And plus, he did very well in Christmas lights by not working very hard. And so this is what I'm getting at, right? I'm not trying to hurt his business when I told him to double it. I just knew he wasn't going to make money at what his prices were. I knew he was going to go broke. I knew that he was going to go out of business if he kept that pricing model up. Because how do I know? Because I see it over and over and over. It's a vicious cycle that I see all the time, that people don't know how to charge. They don't know how to raise their prices. They don't know how to sell. And so they blame it on other things instead of learning how to sell, learning how to follow up, learning how to do things. And that's the whole point of why I try to help you guys. My goal is to help you. My goal is to help you guys grow your business. It is not to make you fail. It is to help you grow your business. And how do you do it? By taking action, by being consistent, by doing it, right? Being relentless. These are the things that we need to take action on. And if it's hard, I never said growing a business was easy. It is hard. Following up sucks, right? It does suck. But guess what? It works. You know what else works? I want to tell you something else that works. Yard signs work amazing. And you know what? I get this question asked 100 times, and I know I'm going kind of off subject here, but we were at this class this past weekend, and someone asked, how many signs are you putting out? Or how many signs should I put out? And David Hamill was there, and David said he put out 7,500 yard signs. Now, that's for pressure washing and Christmas lights and floors, but 7,500 yard signs. How many signs are you putting out? How many signs? You know, it takes a lot of work to put out 7,500 yard signs. That's not no easy task. That takes 2 or 3 people's jobs of putting out that many yard signs. So when you think about what do you got to do to grow a business, that's called being consistent. That's called being relentless, right? That's called, I'm going to do it no matter what I have to do to make my business grow. And that's my whole point here. That's what I'm trying to drive across here tonight. What do you got to do, right? Is it something that you don't like to do? Is it, you might go Facebook Live. Are you doing videos? Are you separating yourself? That's the question. Are you doing the things that are going to grow your business? Or are you hoping? You know, hope don't get us anywhere. If you hope to get to 100,000, it's not going to get you there. If you hope to get a $2,000 average ticket, you're not going to get a $2,000 average ticket. Hope gets us nowhere, zero. It does not do us any good. We can hope all we want. Hope doesn't get there. We can hope for a higher ticket. We can hope for better clients. We can hope for it. But what are we doing to get those better clients? Well, Jason, yard signs are trashy and they just bring trashy in. Really? That's what you're going to go with? Because I can prove it that I've seen a $10,000 ticket come in off of a yard sign. So if you think that's trashy, then I don't know what to tell you, because I don't think that's too trashy myself. How do you charge per yard sign to put out? How much to pay an employee per sign? I know some people pay $1 per sign. I know some people that pay $2 per sign. So if it costs you $3 for the yard sign and $1 to put them out, or $2, you're still at $4 to $5 a sign to put them out. Now, what I will tell you is you need to use a tool that's called Simple Crew. Simple Crew is a tool that you can take a picture when they put a sign in. You want them to take a picture of that sign, because if you don't get them to take a picture of that sign while it's out, you'll be like my friend Chip. And my friend Chip got a phone call. He got one call off of his yard sign. And you know what that one phone call was? It was, hey, sir, I think someone dumped a whole load of signs in there. So the guy went out and took 100 yard signs and went in this farmer's field and dumped 100 yard signs in this farmer's field here. And he got one phone call off of 100 yard signs. And that was, you got a lot of yard signs and they look like they just got put here. And so that is why you want to use Simple Crew. Simple Crew, you can go around and take a picture of everything that, as they take a picture, it will show you the picture. It will pop up on your computer, and it'll put a point right where it is. So then you'll know where those yard signs are. So if you're going to pay somebody to put them out, pay the $20 a month to use Simple Crew, so that way you make sure that those yard signs are still getting put out. You gotta get your prices up, charge for everything. I sent out an estimate that had leaf removal and gutters, patio, sidewalk, driveway cleaning, house wash, and everything itemized. The total was $2,800. If they take it, they take it. If they don't, oh well, move on to the customer. Wasn't for me. Or maybe they only want 1 or 2 things, right? If you itemize it out and do it, then they'll get more. That's how you can get more stuff. But this is also how we get our average ticket up. So you get your average ticket up by making sure we're adding everything for it. So, what other questions for Christmas lights? I'm excited for Christmas lights. We're getting closer to Christmas lights. Um, Permanent lights. I've been having a lot of people asking about permanent lights. I've had a lot of people coming to training for permanent lights. Permanent lights is something that I think is taking off. I know our good old buddies Gobies, they did an amazing job of doing it, but we can, again, people say, well, permanent lights is just for permanent Christmas lights, whatever, but how do we sell it? Well, you want to sell it. You don't sell it as permanent Christmas lights, right? You do, but you don't. We can sell it as security lighting, because now we just took it from a want to a need. And if we can make it a need, then people need these lights. So that way you keep the boogeyman away from your house. And so this is how we can sell permanent lighting with a need and not a want. And so if you need it versus you want it, you need it so that we keep the boogeyman away. And so this is another cool thing that you can do by doing that. And so let's see, what picture do I have here? That's not the picture I want. Is it this picture here? Nope, that's not it. Where's the picture I want? Do I have a picture of it? We love signs. Who loves signs? I love signs. Signs are awesome. Maybe I don't have that picture. Maybe I'll have to find that picture. Let's see if I can find this picture here, because it's important that I find this picture for you. Maybe I won't find that picture for you. Is that it? Nope, that's not it. I know I have it, but I can't find it. But again, here it is. I got it. Right? This picture right here. This was security lighting. 2 on, 5 off. And this lady's like, I have never turned it on anything else because I love this so much. Because it keeps the boogeyman away. And that's the whole plan. How do we keep the boogeyman away, right? We keep the boogeyman away by putting lights on the house. And so you can make this accent lighting. You can make this all kinds of awesome lighting. And so this is how you are able to do this so that people will want to not only have it for Christmas lights, not only have it for the holidays, but now they can have it for the permanent lighting or for the security lighting. And it makes it look awesome. So this is why we want to do that, right? We just ordered 100 yard signs for permanent lights. Awesome. Only 252 days, 2 hours and 15 minutes and 13 seconds until Christmas. We love Christmas. Ron Roby loves Christmas. What's up, Mr. Ron Roby? How are you doing? I am doing awesome. Christmas is right around the corner. Well, maybe a little bit longer around the corner. It's around 2 corners or 3. But it is awesome. I love Christmas. Who else loves Christmas? Christmas is one of my favorite holidays. And now that I hang Christmas lights, it's really my favorite holiday. And here's another great question. Some people might say, Jason, why should I just focus on Christmas lights? Well, you can be like Mr. Ron Roby, and that's all he does is put up Christmas lights. He does nothing else but put up Christmas lights. And he makes his living putting up Christmas lights. He works really hard for about 4 to 5 months, and then the rest of the year he sits on his nuts and does nothing, right? And so actually he doesn't. He thinks about Christmas lights like I do all year long, because that's what we do. We think about Christmas lights all year long. And when you do, that's what makes you can be very successful with the Christmas light business. You know, what you focus on grows. What you water grows. If you try to water 2 different businesses, sometimes one is not going. Neither one's probably going to grow as good as one. And I know that can be hard sometimes. And I know Christmas lights seems like that's crazy. But I'm just telling you, the people that I see, like Daniel, that's going to hit $1 million next year. He has watered that one thing, and in 3 years, I believe he will get to $1 million. I really, truly believe that. He did over $500,000 this year, and next year he's going to do more than that next year, right? Because he's figured out his systems to get him to this price, and his average ticket is like $1,900 and some change, right? And so that's what I want you to be able to do. I want you to be able to be successful. I want you to be able to grow a business. I want you to be able to do these things, right? Ron Roby is another one. Now, his average ticket isn't there, and he'll give me the same excuses that everybody else from Texas will, but there's people in Texas that are making high dollar too. So this is what I'm wanting to get at for you so you can grow your business. I'm excited about Christmas. I love Christmas. I want you to love Christmas. Christmas is amazing. You know, just so I've got some pretty cool news coming up that I'm going to be sharing here shortly that I'm excited for this. I'm super duper excited for some news that I have coming up. The cat's not out of the bag yet. You'll have to stay tuned. You'll have to come back. If you know when I want to know when I go live, I do have a phone number that you can text the word light to 855-619-5483, and I will text you when I go live. And in the next probably 2 to 3 weeks, I will share some exciting news that I have. I'm excited about it. I'm super stoked that I've got some really cool things coming down the pipeline here in the next 2 to 3 weeks. It'll be about 6 weeks when you'll actually get to see it. But I'm going to start peppering it out here a little bit. I want you to come back a little bit, right? I want you to try to figure it out. Some of you might figure it out. Some of you might already know. Most of you don't. But this is something that I'm excited for, that I'm going to be able to help you guys grow your business more. And that's what I'm excited about. I'm excited about I can help you grow your business. I want you to grow your business. I want Odin to hit 100,000. Actually, I want Odin, his goal, I want Odin to hit $150,000 this year as a 16, 17-year-old kid, right? 16, 17-year-old, and he's going to hit $150,000. We got Tom. He's a cop. I know. Don't give him too much. But he's going to hit very well, right? They came to my training. You know, I had you actually have to type the word light, not live. Someone just typed live in. It's light, Lite. It's all right. I'll put you over. I can tag it so you can get on there. But light, Lite. Sorry about that. I don't know if you got live or fat fingered it or whatnot. But if you type light, it will come back on. Somebody's probably like, he's hearing me talking about what I'm saying about. But I'm excited about this year. I think this is going to be a great year. I think the tariffs might hurt a little bit, but I don't think it's going to hurt us that bad. I think that they'll get their act together hopefully here shortly, and things will turn around, and that's what I want you to grow. I want you all to grow your business. That's what I want. It was the cop. That's what I thought. Sorry about the donut jokes. Here's the thing. You know what? Here's another thing I'm excited about. I love when people come to my class. I love to get people out of their comfort zone. So Tom was like, there is no way in hell I'm going to go up front of class and talk to people. Well, guess what? I got him up in front of everybody. He up there 2 or 3 times, actually. But originally, he's like, there ain't no way I'm going up there. And we got him out of his comfort zone. It was a lot of fun, and it got him out of his comfort zone. And by the end of the weekend, he was talking a lot, which is awesome. People learned, people grew. That's what I love. I love helping people get out of their comfort zone. I love helping you grow your business. I want you to grow your business. That's what I want. I want you to be able to have success. I want you to have freedom, time freedom. I want you to have where you can take off 3-4 months out of the year if you want to, or whatever you want to do, right? That's what I want you to do. But what do you got to do that? What do you got to do? You got to do the hard work. You know, Daniel's calling 4 or 5 people every day, 10 people every day. He calls different types of people, different types of businesses every day. That's what he does. Does he get a lot of no's? Yes. Does he get yeses? Yes. But you know what? Every no is closer to a yes. And that's the most important part. Every no is closer to a yes. Don't think no is a bad thing. Every no is a yes, right? My business will hit 7 figures in this first full calendar year. Awesome. It was a great training. If anybody wants to chance, you need to go. Tom and his wife will do very well in lights. Good people always rise to the top. Yep, exactly. So with that, hopefully you all have a great night. If you didn't know, christmaslights.io/SP is my in-person or online training. If you want to go check out my online training or my website, if you need Christmas lights, go check it out. That's a way that you help me back out. If I've helped you out, this is the way you can help me back. And again, if you need anything, just send me a message. If you use that 859 or that 855 number, this number here, that 855-619-5483. I will, if you figure out the right way, I will answer the phone. And that way, if you need anything, I can help you with anything that I can help you with. Message me. You can text me. I like text messages better. That way, my assistant helps me answer them questions a lot of times too, because a lot of the times the questions are mostly the same, and she knows the answers to them. And I talk to her every morning at 9 o'clock. And so, if there's a question that she don't know, I will answer it when I get on there with her. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to text that number, 855-619-5483. I'm working on some other things coming up with some AI stuff that will be an AI voice number that will be able to answer a lot of your questions too. And you can do the same thing with your business. I don't know if you know this or not, but you can get an AI voice. It's not that expensive. It works very well. And so these are all things that you can do to help grow your business. You know, Daniel, I'm going to help Daniel get to $1 million. I've already helped him get to where he's at. I'm going to get him past $1 million. We're going to get him to 2 million. You know, we're going to shoot to the moon, and that is what we're going to do. If you do join the membership, every Monday night we do a Zoom call. You can see some awesome people like Daniel on there, like David Hamill. There's Tom in there. A bunch of people are on there. You can learn, grow, and that's the whole goal of this. Give Jason a call. He's the best coach in the industry. So with that, hopefully you all have a great night, a great week. If for you pressure washers, the weather's finally deciding not to be stupid, and it's starting to be sunny out, which is awesome. Today I was actually in a t-shirt. It's about the second day this year that I've been able to be in a t-shirt, so it was awesome. This weekend's supposed to get up in the 70s. Of course, it's supposed to rain on the weekend, but that's all right. So with that, hopefully you all have a great night. Merry Christmas early, and hopefully grow your business and take action.